Well, hello everyone. I'm Sibyl Star, and I am here to give the astrology report for the Aquarius full moon, which occurs on August 8th, 9th, late in the day on August 8th, and then depending on where you are on August 9th, here on the West Coast, it will be at 12:54 a.m. And of course, the full moon um, represents the emotional body in the chart, but the moon herself, our emotional bodies respond to her. They say that her core is water. And we know that when, if you're in any kind of service field, you can feel the full moon. You know, that people start acting a little crazier. The word lunatic comes from those who worship the moon, lunatics. Okay. So, because it's illogical, and it is really just about what makes us happy. And so when the full moon comes along, the emotions are just really expanded and hypersensitive, and the earth herself responds to the moon. She rises 6 inches to meet the full moon, and of course we know the impact of the moon upon the tides. Okay, so, and as we know, the moon has no light of her own, so reflects the light of the sun. And we look at the axes of both signs involved, Leo and Aquarius. But this is a very special full moon because it is in the energy of the Lionsgate. The Lionsgate is on 8/8 every year. And this is the annual alignment when the sun in Leo, also known as the lion's heart, lines up with the star Sirius and the galactic center. It's the opening of a portal for cosmic light, DNA activations, and higher guidance. It's a Sirius transmission, a day for us receiving solar codes, abundance, sovereignty, and spiritual awakening. And it's also important to know that the time from July 26th until August 12th is the timing of the heliacal rising of Sirius, depending on one's location. And in ancient times, it still happens. When the heliacal rising of Sirius used to align with the flooding of the Nile, but since they've created the Aswan Dam, it doesn't happen anymore. But the heliacal rising is when the light of a star is first seen after being hidden in the light of the sun for about 70 days. And August 8th is considered to be the peak. All right, so now let's look at the chart itself. I'm going to do a screen share here. Okay. All right, so here is the chart of the Aquarius full moon. So what we have here is the moon is at 16 degrees, 59 minutes. We might as well say 17 degrees. Opposite the sun at 16 degrees, 59 minutes of Leo. Okay. So some other important things that we have going on here. And also the moon is conjunct Athena, goddess of wisdom. We need to keep that in mind. Some other important things going on is that we have a Grand Air Trine, and I've actually got a chart for this specifically, and I'll show it to you. But it's where we've got Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius. It's trine Uranus and Sedna, and actually also the star Alcyone in the Pleiades. And then it is trine Mars here at 1 degree of Libra. Okay. So we've got a grand trine here, but then we actually creates a kite with Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune. Okay. So that's a kite. And then, of course, we have Mercury retrograde in Leo. And then we also have the sun, Venus at 10 degrees of Cancer coming up to conjunct Jupiter at 13 degrees of Cancer. And this is a really beautiful energy. And it's going to be in place for about a week with its peak actually on August 12th, the last day of the possible heliacal rising of Sirius, and conjunct the star Sirius. Venus and Jupiter at their conjunction on the 12th will be conjunct the star Sirius. And of course, conjunct means exact. It's the same sign, same degree, or close enough. Okay. It's a merging of power. All right. Okay. So what does all of that mean? That's what we're going to be talking about now. So Like I said, the Aquarius full moon occurs on August 8th, 9th, and I'm just going to say 17 degrees of Aquarius, and Leo is the axis at 12:54 a.m. Pacific time. So the Aquarius archetype, what is Aquarius? Aquarius is a sign that is highly intuitive and ahead of their times. They're very visionary and can see into the future. Many say that Aquarius is known to be at least 5 years ahead of its time. They see things 5 years out, and others just, the collective just isn't quite there yet. Okay. It is the sign of the water bearer. And some believe it's a water sign, but it's actually an air sign. But I also think it also has some water in it, because it is pouring the cosmic waters of wisdom. Okay, so it's pouring the water. It is pouring is cosmic wisdom, and its symbol, of course, is looks like the universal sign for water, but it's also a sign for electricity and energy. Okay. Aquarius is also known as the light bringer, and we're moving into the Aquarian age as light bringer. It is a sign of revolution and the new age. It brings with it attraction, all that is new and unusual, and there's an instinctive need for improvement, and it very much needs emotional space and freedom. Aquarius asks us to honor our own uniqueness and to know how important that is, and yet we still have a sense of belonging. So it's important to find our own tribe of misfits. That's what I have certainly done. Okay, and I think everybody who's a misfit is proud to be one. Anyway, but it's also about the power of the collective consciousness and the power of the group. The shadow of Aquarius is emotional detachment, but it's as a defense from feeling different and often rejected, because Aquarians often feel very misunderstood, because they are ahead of their time. They have a hard time finding where they belong. They can see the bigger picture, like I said, as being a visionary. All right. So the Leo Aquarius axis. So this full moon may catalyze a wave of collective realization, where the old personal stories, Leo, and the new collective narratives, Aquarius, collide. You can expect revelations about your place in the bigger tapestry, and sudden flashes of how your unique heart codes contribute to the whole. In medical astrology, the Leo Aquarius axis rules the cardiovascular system. Leo rules the heart, and Aquarius the vascular system. And so what it says is to open your heart and share the love. That's what it means. The heart is ruled by Leo, the vascular system by Aquarius, and it becomes a loop of love. We're being asked to let our light shine, spreading and dispersing that light through an energetic and electrical network all over the world, raising the vibration of the collective as we raise our own. There is a desire to be seen and acknowledged versus the desire for autonomy and freedom. Because often, with the price of being seen, the price of fame is that your life is no longer your own. And so there it is, that balance. It's the individual consciousness versus group consciousness. And Aquarius is related to the mind, and the mind is light, and light creates form. But the frequency, which is determined by the heart, and the attention behind the creation. So it really all starts in the heart. The frequency is the most important. It's about conscious co-creation. When we are living from the heart, we can direct our minds to work the quantum field and higher frequency vibrations to create the world we want. The phrase namaste always comes to mind to me with the Leo Aquarius axis, which it says, the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is that divine spark within us. That's what but Aquarius then recognizes that light lives in everyone, not just them. So the phrase, I am another you, really applies here as well. All right. So the full moon is conjunct the stars of Delphinus, the dolphin. I feel like the dolphin is actually the power animal of Aquarius. You know, it is it is water and air, okay? Because it does need air to breathe. It is a mammal, but it lives in the sea. So they bring with them a frequency of joyful liberation, healing through joy. They are a bridge between worlds. They are natural bridges, land and sea, human and cetacean, this world and the mythic realms. They are intuitive and have telepathic communication. They are famed for sonar, telepathy, and pod consciousness. And what I have seen them do is not so much like murmuration of the starlings, that is, you know, the group mind or pod consciousness. It's more like I have seen them create like geometric patterns as they swim around people. I swam with them in the wild several times, and that's something that I really noticed, and so did other people. So they go in with a so it is the pod consciousness, but they're creating patterns of healing and of vibration and frequency. Is very amazing. Anyway, this Aquarius Delphinus moon activates group mind, nonverbal knowing, and heart-centered networks. There could be a surge of synchronicity and shared dreams. Healing through sound and water, they're known for that. A lot of uh, they heal through through sound and through water, the vibration of water. But there's another cosmology that talks about the stars of Delphinus. They're around 16 to 18 degrees of Aquarius is where you find them in the sky. And it is said on a mythic realm that they heal souls in between incarnations, and especially those who died in trauma. And we know what beautiful healers they are. They're also oracles and guides for the new timeline. And they were said to be beings of Apollo, and the site Delphi is one of the meanings of Delphi is dolphin, and the god Apollo. He was, like I said, one of his animals, and they are said to be oracular beings, guides for souls in times of transition, and to guide souls to the Isles of the Blessed. And so this full moon may open the Dolphin Stargate, unexpected guidance, messages in dreams, or sudden clarity on your next step forward. All right. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is god of the mind, and Mercury has been retrograde since, I believe, August 21st. It goes direct on August 11th at 4 degrees of Leo. Mercury in Leo is very much about creativity, creative communication, passionate conversations, and it has been, like I said, retrograde for about 2 weeks. It's got another week to go, or a little more, less than a week, actually, a few more days to go. But I have found this to be kind of a challenging Mercury retrograde. Things have just kind of been stuck, although. Mercury goes retrograde when we've gotten ahead of ourselves and tells us to slow down and focus. But it can also bring with it misunderstandings and engagements in social glitches. Things may not go as planned. So anyway, with a focus on creative pursuits. All right, now we're going to talk about that Grand Air Trine with the Kite. And I actually have a what do you call it, an image I want to share with you so that you can see it really well. All right, let me do this. Okay, there we go. All right, there we are. All right, so here is the Grand Trine. So first off, what we've got here is, okay, we can start here. We've got Mars in Leo. Okay, it's trine Pluto in Aquarius here. Trine, here's trine. Uranus in Gemini. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got that right there. Okay. Then you add to that a kite. This is opposite Mars. So we've got the trine, we've got Mars, Pluto, Uranus, trine Mars comes back, and then we've got the opposition, which is the Saturn Neptune conjunction. Okay. And within this, there's another aspect that I'm going to be talking about a little later. It's called a minor grand trine, which is that Neptune and Saturn are at the midpoint of so they're each sextile. Pluto is sextile Saturn and Neptune, and it is sextile Uranus, which makes called a midpoint. Okay. All right. So anyway, it's a very powerful astrological aspect, geometric pattern. All right. And so what this actually means, once again, we've got Pluto in Aquarius, trine Uranus in Gemini, trine Mars in Libra, which is opposite Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So Pluto in Aquarius, he's been there now, off and on for, in and out, let's say for the last year and a half, or maybe even a little longer. I think he touched a little sooner, and will be there until 2024, or no, excuse me, 2044. And of course, Pluto is the transformer. We brings up our shadows. Pluto always shows us the shadow, as well as how to evolve. Pluto says evolve or die. And part of that evolving is to look at our shadow and to clean it up and to clear it up. I call Pluto the roto-rooter of the zodiac. It comes in cleansing, purifying, because it's about death and rebirth. It's always like the snake shedding its skin. What do we need to let go of so that the new can be born? Okay. And it is in the sign of Aquarius, which is about liberation and group mind. And both Pluto and Aquarius require deep authenticity of self. And in Aquarius asks us to step away from mass consciousness and the hive mind and to think for yourself. There are times that it does work well, like I say, the pod consciousness, but we need to be authentic in it. It's not about conformity. Okay. It is more about collaboration than conformity. And the collective shadow is unearthed as new paradigms are forged in the fires of transformation. It's very powerful. Pluto is conjunct the star Altair in Aquila the eagle. And the eagle asks us to fly above the storm and see with the eagle's eye the view of the situation. It allows one to see the drama unfolding on Earth, but not participate in it, and to stay focused on the vision, on the dream. And Altair also asks us to step up to our soul mission. It's time for everyone to step up. Okay. Uranus in Gemini at 1 degrees is about awakening, revolution, and radical new insights. And ideas spark like lightning, light language, new languages of light, magical technology, and all kinds of new kinds of technology that can really help us accelerate our consciousness growth. Now, Uranus is also conjunct Sedna. I think Sedna is known is a dwarf planet. I'm not sure what her actual what they're calling her. Anyway, what she represents is the deep oceanic goddess. She's an archetype of collective memory and the mysteries that lie beneath the surface. Sedna shows us Sedna is also about our destiny, and she shows us the sacrifice we may need to make to achieve our destiny. When Sedna is around, your destiny is calling. Okay. And it's also conjunct the star Alcyone in the Pleiades. It's called the great central sun of the Pleiades. It is a beacon of higher wisdom, remembrance, and cosmic cycles. And it holds the codes of the living library. which are Earth's multidimensional templates. And that is what is coming in right now. Uranus is activating the stargates here on Mother Earth that were embedded here by our Pleiadian relatives probably millions of years ago. Anyway, they're being activated right now as we step into the photon belt. Anyway, both are conjunct Uranus, the awakener. And what this can bring with it is the sudden reactivation of ancient, feminine, and multidimensional wisdom. Many are remembering Atlantis and Lemuria, and not only the trauma, but their high age, the golden age, what we have known before. We were just remembering downloads from both the Pleiadian star mothers who seeded humanity's consciousness in Lemuria and the oceanic soul of Sedna are here to liberate the mind and accelerate evolution. Their starseed destiny and mission are activated. All right. Mars at 1 degrees of Libra. Mars is the planet that requires courage, will, action. When Mars is around, it's a catalyst. He makes things happen. I've shared before the analogy of putting cayenne in your soup. It's kind of like it tastes good, but once you put the cayenne in, it makes it pop. It really brings out the flavor. Mars in Libra is the way of the peaceful warrior. It is the strategist, the one who knows how to win through diplomacy, but the shadow can be passive aggressive behavior. Now, Mars is conjunct what was called a supragalactic point, and it called the supergalactic center. This is what is known as the gravitational center of our local supercluster, where we are located. It is the source of 0-point creation, cosmic magnetism, and the attractor of souls and galaxies. It also works on the law of attraction. It reminds us that what we put out, what we broadcast, is what comes back to us. There's also something called Messier 87, which is very powerful. It is a giant black hole. It is a giant elliptical galaxy, home to one of the most massive black holes ever imagined, and the heart of the galactic mysteries. Now, Mars conjunct these two galactic points is a call to act, not just from ego, but from the galactic heart, to align personal will with the meta intention of the universe. The meta intention here, meta, of course, means, large, huge. Intention here is to move, speak, and act as a conscious cell within the body of the universe, attuned to its deeper purpose. So this is about aligning our will to divine will, but not just like our soul plan, which is a piece of it, but the will of the universe to move towards higher consciousness, okay? And all of these are in a harmonious Grand Air Trine, which is a circuit of flowing intellect, vision, inspiration, and communication. A Grand Air Trine is the breath of the gods and brings with it downloads, revelations, and the quickening of genius. But air can be scattered and ungrounded. Any Grand Trine, if it's a completely closed circuit with no outlet, it just keeps going round and around. It really needs an outlet. And so the kite position, the kite pattern really helps with a focus. And so the opposition from Saturn and Neptune at 1 degree of Aries, okay, is the opposition. It's opposite Mars, and it makes a kite. Saturn brings structure, boundaries, and self-mastery. Neptune brings dreams, dissolution, and spiritual oneness. The opposition to Saturn and Neptune in Aries focuses this wind into an arrow, a strong declaration of a new reality. And Aries is, of course, about giving birth to a new reality, because it is still conjunct the Aries point. It's at 1 degree of Aries, which is still within range of what we would call Aries point, which is a portal for the new dream, the new reality, and at the very edge of becoming. This is a birth of a new vision, but it demands incarnation through Saturn and Neptune, which become the sacred container. Saturn is the container and Neptune makes it sacred. The sacred container for the birth of the new human and the new earth. It's creating the infrastructure for the age of Aquarius. It is a spiritual birth amidst amidst a collective revolution. What is being born out of the chaos and the drama of breakdown? We know the world is crazy right now. We just can't get all that involved into what is going on. We can't control it. We can't fix it. So step back and focus on what is being born. And that is not spiritual bypass. It is wisdom. You can't fix that mess out there from my perspective. And you can just send your love, not participate in the divide, the polarity, and focus on giving the birth to the new that is coming, because it is coming. Believe me, trust it, trust the process. And to the kite itself, the whole pattern is the soul's flight path. Kites must be free and anchored, must be both free and anchored. It must be, it's like a kite. You're letting it, fly in the wind, but you're also holding it, the anchor. Okay. And so the anchor is that Saturn Neptune piece. The air trine wants to soar, but the Saturn Neptune anchor makes sure the vision lands. This pattern offers a momentum for quantum evolution if you are willing to focus, commit, and birth your dreams in the fire of authentic action. The kite is an acceleration of consciousness with a focus on co-creation of the birth of a new world. And so a few things you might want to ponder during this time, just on a personal level, which is really the only thing you have control over, is what new idea, project, or relationship wants to be born through you? And are you willing to let your soul's kite fly and let it be anchored in the ground of embodied action, and in the embodied action in love? Okay. All right. Now, the minor Grand Trine that I talked about, which is where there's a during this time, and this minor Grand Trine actually occurs from August through November of 2025, and it's going to come back a little bit in 2026. Okay. And so during this period, Uranus trines Pluto with the Saturn Neptune midpoint, both forming sextiles, creating a minor triangle, which is a harmonious configuration rich with dynamic potential and evolutionary support. Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, both in air signs, act as the structural pillars, amplifying breakthroughs in consciousness through communication, technology, and expanded mental paradigms. This energy feeds directly into Saturn and Neptune in Aries, seeding a potent birth portal, one that may catalyze a redefinition of life, creativity, and the very existence of a very understanding of existence itself. This is really a powerful aspect going on. Okay. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is probably really the most important. It's just so incredibly beautiful and powerful. And it is the Venus Jupiter in Cancer that it is in play at the full moon, but it is exact on August 12th. And on August 12th, Jupiter and Venus both are in alignment with the star Sirius. They're all going to be at 14 degrees of Cancer. And that is also what we call a quincunx to the full moon, which requires adaptation at 16 Aquarius or 17 Aquarius. And I also want to point out this occurs on the last day of the Lionsgate Portal. So the Lionsgate Portal this year is really powerful and leaving with a bang. All right. So Venus and Jupiter, they're both known. Jupiter is the great benefic. Venus is known as the lesser benefic. When they come together, it is known as the great embrace. It's a rare alignment, amplifying love, beauty, abundance, and growth. Now, I want to say this does happen every year, but this year it happens at 14 degrees of Cancer, which makes it even more significant. But if you have this in your chart, it is actually a rare alignment because it just happens once a year. In Cancer, their gifts are emotionally profound, nourishment, home, belonging, ancestral memory, the sacred feminine, and the mysteries of the heart. In esoteric or spiritual astrology, Jupiter is the soul, Soul, ruler of Aquarius. So it is also the ruler of the Aquarian age. And so this is, so as a soul ruler, it is not just a planet of luck, but the expander of consciousness, the great unifier, and the teacher who births the new world vision. It's very much related to the age of Aquarius and the birthing of that, which is we're in process. We've definitely are deeper into it, but it takes a while. All right, but now they're both conjunct the star Sirius A. And Sirius is the brightest star in the sky. I'm sitting in front of an image of Sirius. And Sirius is known as our spiritual sun. And some believe that the Earth, or excuse me, that our sun is actually in a binary star system with Sirius. Those, let's say, off-planet beings, from their perspective, that's what they see. And Sirius is the mother, and we are the sun, SUN/SON. Okay. So the spiritual sun is Sirius, as our spiritual sun is a star of high frequency intelligence, ancient Egypt's axis of calendar and myth, and a transmitter of multidimensional codes. The ancient Egyptians knew this. Sirius is Sothis, which is the Egyptians believed that as Sothis, or Sothis, that Sirius was the celestial form of the great goddess Isis, and that the heliacal rising of Sirius heralded the Nile's flood, the return of life, the tears of Isis resurrecting Osiris, and the divine feminine giving birth to new worlds. The Isis Sirius is not just a star, but a remembrance of eternal nurture, cosmic holding, and love that does not judge or withdraw. When Jupiter and Venus join Sirius in Cancer and the Aquarius full moon with Delphinus opens the collective field, it is the galactic heart, the lap of the Great Mother, that is revealed. The galactic heart awakens, a remembrance that you have never been abandoned, not by the stars nor by the mother who dreamed you into being. This is a moment to be remothered by the universe, to allow the frequencies of unconditional love to repair what the collective dream of exile and separation could not, and to remember our star lineage. The quincunx is the adjustment, learning to let yourself receive, to trust the arms of the mother, and to allow joy and play into your life, and how important that is. This rare alignment invites us to open our hearts to the unconditional love, wisdom, and guidance from the galactic heart. Now is the time to receive, to remember our star lineage, and to anchor this higher frequency of love on earth for ourselves, for our communities, and for all beings seeking their way home. Now we have an opportunity to take action on this, because there are some powerful dates coming up for which there are some synchronized global meditations as the galactic heart opens, and with it an ascension portal, providing tremendous momentum for quantum evolution. So to begin with, there's 3 synchronized meditations, and I'm going to share their information on my description page if you want to participate. So August 11th, 12th, there will be, once again, as I said, the triple Venus, Jupiter, Sirius conjunction, and its energies of loving joy and happiness, a bringer of good news and true hope. This is really, I think, the beginning of the heart of the awakening of the galactic heart, not only within the universe, but within ourselves, that remembrance of our own connection to the galactic heart. Then again, the second one, the second synchronized meditation will be on Monday, August 18th. And like I said, I will have the information of the exact time, and actually even a website that will tell you how to do the meditation if you want to participate and how long to do it. And so, but on this day, this is when there is the exact, as I talked about, the minor triangle, the minor grand triangle. That is the exact date when Neptune is at that exact point, and I believe it's 1 degree 40 minutes of Aries, between the Neptune sitting at the Uranus Pluto midpoint, and in the process of a new renaissance for planet Earth. And the last one, the third one, is on Thursday, August 21st. And this is the heliocentric conjunction of Neptune sitting up on the midpoint of Uranus and Neptune. So that's a little different. A geocentric perspective is our perspective. It's what we see. The heliocentric is what you would, is what the perspective from the sun as it's orbiting around the sun. Okay. All right. And so this would indicate a new renaissance for the whole solar system. And as I said, I will put more details in the description box if you would like to participate. I feel like it is a moment of a huge collective shift in consciousness and a potential tipping point for humanity's evolution. Please join us as we awaken the galactic heart in each of us and bathe in the unconditional love of the Divine Mother. All right. It's a very powerful August. I hope everyone takes advantage of it and connects to the galactic heart in the universe, the galactic heart that lives with them, as the star Sirius is activated on such a big way. All right. Many blessings to all, and namaste.